Hello and welcome to 𝐿𝐭𝐴𝐧𝐧𝐞𝐿 Serie A Match Day 23, a very, very important match day because we have Derby de la Madonnina, Milan-Inter, and we have Roma-Napoli with Napoli, Leo, still dreaming, of course, about the Scudetto after beating Juventus.
Absolutely, Edu. Massive win from behind. They're like facing every single challenge and they're getting on the top of it. And now this weekend, this Sunday, I already booked my sofa. No one's going to take me away from there with that Derby de la Madonnina and then with Roma-Napoli. So I'm really looking forward.
Great match day again, of course, in Serie A. So tell me, guys, your tips and your comments for these two big games on Sunday, Milan-Inter, Roma-Napoli. Of course, if you enjoy our videos, press the like. And now let's go on with the show. Well, Leo, but first let's focus in the relegation battle because it's also very, very interesting from Como 13th to Parma 18th, only 2 points. So a lot of teams involved. On Friday, we have a relegation 6-pointer is Parma-Lecce. Parma, the first team to be relegated, although they are level on points with Lecce. Parma played a great game in San Siro. They were this close to get points from Milan. I love the goal scored by Cancellieri, by the way. And Lecce, no options, Leo, against Inter.
Yes, absolutely. And to be honest, it's so tight there at the bottom end that week by week we're going to be talking like of teams like moving out and in from the relegation zone. Look, Parma says if you look at the table, we're going to see that Parma is 16 with 20 points, but it should have say Parma in the 13th place with 23 points because it's astonishing the way they lost the 3 points in San Siro against Milan. You were saying they were leading up to the 92nd minute and they finished empty-handed. I mean, they took early lead in the game with a beautiful goal from Matteo Cancellieri, 22 years old striker, 3 goals to his name this season, and 2 of those 3 goals actually against Milan because he scored also in the reverse fixture in the Ennio Tardini when Parma managed to get the 3 points against Milan. The second goal of Parma says a lot about that Parma that we really enjoy watching at the first 3 months of the competition because Enrico Del Prato, the captain and the right back, he finished the move as a number 9 almost next to Milan's goals, and that's what we were used to with this very young Parma team. Del Prato and Gabriele Zappa, probably when you look at the bottom half teams, they are 2 of the best right backs we have at the moment in Serie A. They are same points than Lecce, but the Salento side is in the relegation zone with a lesser goal difference. They were trashed 4-0 at home by Inter. They offer almost nothing, and the little they managed to do was done by Patrick Dorgu, who is leaving to Manchester United. Gazzetta dello Sport announced yesterday that he's definitely leaving for 32 million euros, the biggest transfer in Lecce's history, and just 18 months after another record sale for the Via del Mare team, which is telling us, I think, that they're already thinking in Serie B because now no one is going to come in the last 2 or 3 days of the transfer market for them. So that's why for me, my take here is Parma to win 2.15.
Let's keep talking about the relegation. On Saturday, we have Monza, Verona, probably last chance for Monza. Now they are 7 points away from salvation after losing to Genoa and Bologna. Verona out of the relegation thanks to the draw in Venezia. Not sure if it's enough, that draw for them. Leo, is only 2 points in the last 4 games.
Yes, and starting with Monza, I just don't see how they're going to reduce that 7 points deficit, to be honest, to reach promised land of staying in Serie A for another season. They lost 10 of the last 13 matches, and on Monday another defeat, in this case in the away game against Genoa. It's impressive how awful is the run under season, and it's also impressive how they managed to win against Fiorentina a few weeks ago. That was the first and only home win of the season, that one with Fiorentina. This week they lost the defender Pablo Mari to Fiorentina, but they have secured the loan signing of Tomás Palacios, the Argentine defender, very young, 21 years old from Inter. He played only 10 minutes of Serie A this season. So I don't think it's the type of signing you will make when you are looking for survival in Serie A. With Genoa on Monday, the game was tied at halftime, but they gave up in the second. Salvatore Bocchetti, the manager, spoke of a lack of passion. I will add a lack of aggressiveness, concentration, strength, and so on. And Verona, at least, is showing less red dots when you look at the performances. Is 1 win, 2 draws, and 2 defeats in the last 5 for them. A point in the Veneto derby against Venezia, a late point also because he equalized in the 78th minute of the match. For Verona, is 3 wins away this season and 2 in the last 4 on the road for them. I personally don't get the odds here, why they look so healthy on Monza's favor. That is why my take is Verona double chance, 1.7. I will take it all the way.
Next game, not far, well, a little bit, but still in the north, is Udinese Venezia. Udinese lost to Roma with 2 penalties. They are in a bad run right now, no wins in the last 5 games, but Venezia, Leo, is one of these teams also in the bottom 3, 4 points away from Verona at the moment, and no wins also in 5 and under 2.5 goals also in the last 5 games.
Yes, and actually it is 1 win in the last 12 if we want to go even further with them, and they know that a win won't take them out of the relegation zone for Venezia, because, as you said, it's 4 points a gap from salvation. Away from home, they are the worst team in the Serie A. No wins so far for Venezia, 7 defeats in 11 matches, and 21 goals conceded on the road. Poyampalo, Venezia's goal scorer, I mentioned last show, he's leaving Venezia for Palermo, and after the final whistle in the Veneto derby, he was visibly in tears and saying goodbye to the fans. 𝐬𝐭𝐴, the Ukrainian forward, could be a replacement, but there's nothing certain as yet. And Udinese, we could say that after a very good start, their season actually started to turn for the mediocre in the reverse fixture with Venezia, because that afternoon they lost 3-2 away, and from there they count only 2 wins in 14 matches and 7 defeats, and the last 2 consecutively, first with Como Matchday 21 and then with Roma last weekend. They produced a decent first half with the Giallo Rossi. They defended well and they went ahead with the goal from Lorenzo Luca, 8 goals to his name so far this season for Luca. He scored 14 in a season, but that was with Palermo like 4 years ago and in Serie C, and there is a chance that Lorenzo Luca ends up playing for Roma from next week, because Claudio Ranieri, he acknowledged publicly that there is a player that they are following to get this transfer window. For Udinese, if they lose Luca, that's going to be a massive blow. The problem for them is, like, they are not in a relegation battle. 6 points is the distance, but many teams behind Udinese, but they do not have any other. They don't have any European aspirations, so it's like they're just waiting for the season to finish, it seems to me. My take here, Edu, Udinese first half Asian handicap minus 0.25, odds of 2.
Venezia still competitive, but it's going to be very hard for them to stay in Serie A. Let's go a little bit up in the standings. Atalanta, Torino in the middle of the table, finally won a game against Cagliari after 4 consecutive draws, but our eyes, of course, on Atalanta. Bounce back, Leo, in Como, but it was very difficult to get the 3 points from the lake, thanks to Retegui, again, scoring a brace. I guess the goal this season is qualifying, of course, for the next Champions League, seeing how the results are going and saying goodbye to the Scudetto fight in January.
Yes, we will see, and tonight also a massive night for them with Barcelona away. So we're gonna see if it has any impact on the weekend. That is important. Actually, this match with Barcelona. I hope they can get at this point and secure a straight place in the last 16, because this team, Atalanta, cannot afford to play another extra 2 games in the playoff. I mentioned that the squad we've been talking about that is not as Inter one. It's a small squad. They have now Ademola Lookman injured. That's massive. He's going to be away, out for several weeks, maybe for a month. So they're going to need a replacement. Raspadori, Daniel Maldini are ones who are sounding maybe to replace Lookman now in the final days of the transfer window. But Atalanta needed a week like the last one, winning in Europe and winning in Serie A after 4 matches, and in a game in which they were like down at halftime in the league. Retegui, with that brace, 16 goals this season and 4 in the last 3 matches. The first half wasn't good for Atalanta, but the second one was close to their best version. Substitutions worked very well. 𝗵𝗵𝗀𝗀, Ruggeri, Bresciani, they all came in good level. And after 6 consecutive wins at home, Atalanta is now 2 without winning in Bergamo, a draw and a defeat. Torino swapped a run of 4 consecutive away defeats for a run of 4 matches without losing on the road, with 1 win and 3 draws. Matchday 22, they had a good performance. They cut that run of draws with Cagliari, and Che Adams scoring also a brace, 7 goals for the Scottish this season. Atalanta's odds, of course, are more like a safe bet. So my take here is goals over 2.5, odds of 1.91, and also, why not, Matteo Retegui to score anytime, 2.25.
Always good to go for goals, with Atalanta 48 goals scored in this Serie A, the second highest tally, only behind Inter. And also on Saturday we have Bologna Como. Bologna are right now 2 points away from the European spots. They drew with Empoli, a step back in their fight to get into European spots. It's only 1 win in the last 5 Serie A games. Como, Leo, are very dangerous at this moment on time. As we said, they really put a fight against Atalanta, but also they should look at their back. They are only 2 points away from relegation.
Yes, because when you look at the standings, you say, oh, they're fine. We look at the position. Yeah, but it's just 2 points. Yeah. It's nothing. They can see them. They can find themselves. Well, by the time we talk for Matchday 24 in the relegation zone, the first half was good for Como, but they just couldn't hold that level against Atalanta. Nikos Paz scoring a beauty. He won't go anywhere this winter. We will see what happens next summer. After the match, the camera took the speech from Fabregas that he gave to his players still inside the pitch. Something that, I don't know, it's difficult not to think here when I see those kind of things, like he knows the camera is pointing at him. What's the point of doing that speech in front of everyone when he can just wait 1 minute and say whatever he wants to say in the dressing room? I say it as well. Fabregas loves the camera a little bit too much for me, but he seems so far that he's a good manager. And Bologna, after winning the first Champions League game for them in history against Borussia Dortmund, I wouldn't expect they were going to lose 2 points in Empoli. Benjamin Dominguez made it 1-1 in the first half. So I thought, okay, for the second half they're gonna go for it. But the reality is, like, they didn't have too many chances to win the game, Bologna. But anyway, still like just 2 points behind European places for them. At home for Bologna is 4 wins in the last 4, just 1 defeat. But again, this is as well another Champions League week for them, this time in Lisbon tonight. But they should just forget about, I would say, about this last match. Maybe have a good rotation, because the focus needs to be placed on the weekend, or starting from the weekend in Serie A. My take in this one, Bologna Como as well, 2 teams that they score. Both teams to score, yes, 1.90.
Games on Sunday, Super Sunday in Serie A. First one in Torino, Juventus Empoli. Juventus 5th. We were talking in our Champions League show. Also, the pressure right now on the manager, on Thiago Motta, it's been the whole season, but probably they are in one of the worst moments of the season. First defeat in Serie A is only 1 win in the last 5 Serie A games. The game against Milan. Probably the good news are their European campaign, and Colomwani scoring in the first game, Leo. I guess, or if they don't beat Empoli, Mota is going to be really under pressure because Empoli is one of the worst teams in this moment in time in Serie A, no wins in 7.
Yes, and to read that Juventus initiated like informal contact with Xavi Hernandez to replace Thiago Motta, it says a lot. And those conversations, they pointed to the summer, but as you're saying, if they don't get results, and especially with Empoli, which I believe they're gonna get it, because the first half with Napoli anyway was still good for the old lady. 𝐿𝐴 scoring on his first match with Juventus, which marks the end, I believe, for 𝗵𝗵𝗶. For next summer, he's not gonna be staying in Juventus. He hasn't played since the 3rd of January, initially because of an injury, but he went to the bench in the last 3 games with Milan, Bruges, and Napoli. The objective, of course, now for Juve and Motta is Champions League football, and they are 2 points from Lazio in 4th. The numbers do not help the case of Motta. The team's win percentage is just 38%, which is the 3rd lowest in the last 15 years for Juventus. 17 points have been lost from winning position. That's very damaging because it makes people wonder about the mental strength of the players and also the coach. Cagliari, Venezia, Milan in the Supercoppa, and now Napoli, all these games in which Juventus was leading at halftime and did not win. However, with this Empoli, winless in the last 7 with 5 defeats, they should do the job, and I believe they're going to do it. Empoli 2 defeats in the last 3 on the road, and they should add another one once the game finishes in Turin. For me, it's Juventus to win and goals over 2.5. These two combined, 2.83.
It should be indeed. Juventus win is not easy to read. Juventus with 13 draws is not easy to read. Fiorentina in this moment still in the fight for the European spots, but we didn't expect them to beat Lazio at the Olimpico. They were winless in the previous 6 Serie A games, and they are facing a tough team, Leo, like Genoa beat Monza. Is 3 wins in the last 5 Serie A games, looking really safe right now with a healthy distance from the bottom 3, 6 points.
Yes, and it's not going to be easy, and I agree with you, in Firenze against Genoa for Fiorentina. Great second half for Patrick Vieira's team, scoring both goals after the break. They could have gone ahead actually in the first half, but Pinamonti missed a penalty. 26 points, 3 wins in the last 5, just 1 defeat, and just 2 goals conceded in those 5 games. It's very, very good, to be honest, for Genoa. For Fiorentina, crucial win on Monza 22 away to Lazio. 2 early goals helped them a lot, because after 10 minutes, 𝗵𝗵𝗶𝗀 put the team ahead 1-0, and then 6 minutes after, Lucas Beltran in a good counter-attack on the right-hand side, across, and he finished with a good header, put the team 2 goals ahead. And second half, it was all Lazio. Yes, that is true. Fiorentina had to suffer, but look, Fiorentina is a team that they haven't conceded yet a single goal in the last 15 minutes of the game. So when Lazio was pushing for the equalizer, and they have chances, I think there was a belief in Fiorentina that was not going to happen. I'm looking at the odds on Genoa, Edu, and they're like quite healthy. So my take here is Genoa Asian handicap +1. Again, I said it's not going to be easy for Fiorentina this match. Genoa Asian handicap +1, 1.78.
Totally agree with you. I see a lot of value on Genoa in this game. And then the great derby de la Madonnina, Milan Inter in San Siro. Of course, remember, Milan won both derbies this season in the first round, in the Girone d'Andata, as we say in Italian, and also in the Super Cup. Now with the new manager, we can still say it, 𝐬𝐭𝐚𝐲, getting a lucky win, as you mentioned, against Parma, with Samu Chukwueze scoring also a lucky winner in the last minute. And Inter looking very reliable, only 3 points away from Napoli, beating Lecce easily. We are seeing Lautaro also scoring in every game.
Yep.
This is a massive clash, and probably Leo seen the head-to-head recently in this season. Inter too favorite for this game, 2.0. You think this is too favorite for the bookies?
Probably because, when we look at, but I agree they are favorite, but maybe when we look at the head-to-head lately, yes, I was expecting the odds to be a little bit lower on Inter, because in this type of games, I know it's something we always say, but it doesn't matter too much how do you arrive to a game like this. But Inter is smelling blood in this one, and they're gonna try to exert revenge because of that double defeat they suffered against Milan this season. They won without troubles against Lecce. 8 consecutive wins away from home for them, and they keep pushing Napoli to the limit. 50 points so far for them, 3 behind the leaders and with the game in hand. Lautaro scoring for the 3rd consecutive match, and 9 to his name this season. Even 𝗀𝗏𝗏 scored to decorate the win against Lecce. And Milan, despite that lucky win against Parma, I don't know if you've seen the how 𝐬𝐭𝐚𝐲 was almost fighting with Davide Calabria. That was terrible. I can't remember seeing a manager running onto the field like I seen 𝐿𝐭𝐚𝐲 doing after the final whistle, visibly agitated and going straight for one of his players, Davide Calabria. And I think it was the members of his staff who needed to intervene and prevent physical escalation between them both. Then Zlatan, being Zlatan, say, no, that is good to see a manager and a player almost fighting, because it shows that they care. That's not true. Just for me, it shows that something is not good within that team. Theo Hernandez, Rafa Leao, and others going to a concert the day before the match as well doesn't speak very, very well of how things are going now at the moment in Milan. But derby is a derby, and these kind of things probably it doesn't matter, and especially when players know that the only thing their fans want is for them to win, and if they win, they're gonna forget everything that happened up to this moment. Pulisic scored on the weekend. That was positive for Milan, because it was like 9 games for him without scoring in Serie A. Reinders also another good positive note, scoring again 6 goals this season for him. My take here, Edu, I expecting a lively derby de la Madonnina. Second half goals over 1.5. Second half goals over 1.5 odds of 2.
What a game this one, and what a pleasure, Reinders, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
Well, let me know, of course, in the comments, who are you backing? Milan to win 4, the draw is 3.7, Inter to win 2.0. I'm sure Inter will take a look also at the next game. This is also a derby called Derby del Sole, because we have nice weather usually in Rome and in Naples. This is Roma-Napoli. And one name comes to my mind is Romelu Lukaku. He was a Roma player not long time ago, and now scoring very important goals for Napoli. They are celebrating every win as the Scudetto, because they keep dreaming, of course. We can see now the odds for Napoli to win the Scudetto in Oddspedia, and it's only 2.2 after beating Atalanta away, Juventus at home, 7 consecutive wins in Serie A. Another step, Leo would be winning at the Olimpico, always very strong, Roma at the Olimpico, 6 consecutive wins there in all competitions before playing European football on Thursday. And finally, Roma won away with a very controversial penalty. Actually, I'm not sure if the second one was a penalty.
No, for me it wasn't, but for them it was enough to score and to win the game that they won from behind against Udinese. But for Napoli, another massive game, and it's like this week by week. And so far, they have been passing all the exams with great note. Fiorentina win, Atalanta win, Juventus win. You said 7 consecutive wins. On Sunday is Roma, and then in 2 weeks they go back to the capital to face Lazio, and in 3 weeks the clash with Inter. But again, another very resilient performance last weekend to win from behind. Lukaku scoring again, 𝐻𝐵𝗲𝗀 scoring again. Look, between Lukaku, Raspadori, Neres, and Politano, they have 15 goals, and only between McTominay and 𝐻𝐵𝗲𝗀 you have 10 goals there, 5 goals each. Great season for 𝐻𝐵𝗲𝗀 and for all those three midfielders, which we've been saying that they're like amazing for Conte and Napoli. And it's amazing how Napoli reduced the gap with the top teams in Serie A compared to what happened last season. The turnaround is massive, and I hope for the sake of the title race that they keep pushing Inter to the limits. To visit Roma at the 𝐬𝐭𝐴𝐵𝗀𝗀 is another challenge, of course. Roma winning 4 of the last 4 in Serie A, the 4th best team at home this season, 21 points. And Napoli, who is the leader of the Serie A, took 27 points, just 6 points more than Roma at home. Only Atalanta and Inter have scored more than the 23 goals at home than Roma has celebrated. And slowly but surely, Roma is getting closer to European spots. They are like just 6 points now behind Fiorentina in 6th, which seem very distant at the end of 2024, but these are demanding days for Roma. Tomorrow is Eintracht Frankfurt. Again, they need to win in Europa League, and of course then Napoli, and then Milan in the Coppa Italia. So 3 big games in a row for Roma. I won't go 𝑋1 or 𝑋2 as much as I'm enjoying a lot the run and the season from Napoli. Both teams to score, yes. In this case, I think it's a must, 1.83.
And the last game we have in this match day is Cagliari Lazio. Lazio still in the Champions League spots, but lost to Fiorentina. It's only 1 win in the last 5 Serie A games. As we said, they were overperforming in the first part of the season. Yeah. Cagliari 1 point above their relegation. The great run is over after the defeat in Torino.
Yes, and starting with Lazio, Edu, yes, a setback with Fiorentina, or maybe it shouldn't be seen as a setback, mostly, and more like you are mentioning, like what we had at the beginning of the season or up to December. They were like overperforming, and now they're like just reaching the level, but they're still on Champions League spots. They took the advantage of Juventus losing their game with Napoli, so it's in that sense it's good when you look at the table. We need to see if they're gonna be managing, if they're gonna manage to keep that spot for in the next month. So that's why that setback is less painful for them. I will say Marco Baroni in the second half, in the defeat with Fiorentina, he looked much more happy than we saw in the first half, when he was like absolutely upset and angry. We could see with his player, but the second half display from Lazio was good. And I was saying when I'm talking about Fiorentina that they had many chances to score, and probably they deserved to take at least a point. They made the merits to go home or to take at least a point against Fiorentina. And the Sardinians couldn't sustain that run of 7 points from the last 9. With Torino last Saturday, it was poor. They did not create almost anything throughout all the game. There are 3 places, but just 1 point only above the relegation zone. And on Monday, before kickoff, because this game is going to be played on Monday, before kickoff, they could find themselves immersed again in the red zone, Cagliari, because everything is very, very tight at the bottom. At home is 2 wins in the last 4 matches for Cagliari. Those wins against Verona and Lecce, but Napoli traveled there and won 4-0, Inter there 3-0, Atalanta 1-0, Bologna 2-0. So that's why it doesn't look too promising against even this Lazio, who is a little bit inconsistent in 2025. My take here, Lazio, first team to score, odds of 1.73.
Let's see, this is a tough game for Lazio on a Monday evening. Well, guys, as always, remember that we have our tipster competitions going on. So if you sign up in Oddspedia completely for free, you can participate in our competitions and win some cash prizes, and also that you can create your own tipster competitions and challenge your friends thanks to rivals. Leo, your safe bet?
Atalanta to win 1.43.
And the ACCA?
And the ACCA, which hopefully we can make a hat trick of ACCA after the last two match days, they were correct. Atalanta, Torino, goals over 1.5. Juventus to win and goals over 2.5. And Milan Inter, both teams to score a total of 6.2.
Okay, let's try the hat trick, Leo Bachanian, in Retegui mode. Then thanks, Leo. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.